Hey friends, Wayne over here at the Ram Man Inc. In these prior two videos I've been talking about how do we get these Chevrolet Planetaries on the end of a 8-lug axle, full floating axle hub. All these are standard configuration. They got these 8 bolts on the end. There's an old Dana 60. Here's an 80 hub. Here we go, we've got a Dana 60 spindle right here, front spindle. I've stuck his 30 spline shaft in there just for a mock-up. So, I'm going to get right into it, because if you watch the last 22 minutes, each of the other two videos was about 11 minutes long. If you watch the other two, you're all teased up and you're ready to go and you want to see some shit and less talking. So, okay, so we've got our 30 spline shaft coming out of a factory 60 spindle, front spindle. There it is, factory spindle, right? Yes. Matter of fact, y'all have seen it. Something like that goes on the front. So, here it is. Here's that coming out. Now, Planetaries consist of 3 parts, right? You got your sun gear. You got your planet gears. The sun goes inside the planets. Planets revolve around the sun gear. And then out here where Pluto's at, no, this is the ring gear, or the annular. And that nice unit goes right in there. So, we have to figure out how to get this onto the end of the shaft and onto the spindle. So the sun gear's got to be able to turn. We got to figure out somehow how to get the damn ring gear onto the factory spindle. Because see, the ring gear can't move. On your normal buggy that has Planetaries on the end, typically you'll notice that the end is splined and the ring gear actually slips over the splines, because in order for Planetaries to work now you can release, like in a transmission, you can release the 2 of them and you'll get a different reduction. But for axles, the ring gear is stationary on the spindle. In Planetaries, the ring gear is stationary on the spindle. So, you have to, so here we go. I'll give you an idea. So, looky there. That Dana 70 hub, that rear hub fits right on the front. Looky there. So, we have to attach the whole Planetary to the hub, right? Isn't this what drove the hub before? Remember? These things bolt up right here. So, we got to have us a drive flange. That drive flange needs to be cut out right here so we can get to our nuts and stuff, and then it needs to extend out a little bit. So, what I propose doing is using basically, now we're just talking about off the cuff. I can't give you all my secrets. I'm not going to tell you exactly what the fuck they're going to look like. But here it is, December 23rd of 2021. And I'll tell you what, these are going to be out by summer. You get to looking. I'm going to be making bolt-on universal Planetaries by the summer of 2022. You can take it to the bank. So, So we're gonna bolt on our drive disc. I showed you. So we got a spline our sun gear, 30 internal splines, so that it'll go on that 60 shaft. That 30 spline shaft. So we gotta fit this sun gear to the 30 spline. I want you to envision that. So we've got our gear up on there. Now, got a little clip. And get to use that factory clip maybe. So we put our sun gear on there. Now we have to bolt down our drive plate. We're going to bolt down our drive plate. We're going to use some grade 8 or better centering flush mount fasteners. So these type of fasteners is what's going to hold our plate down. So here's our plate, friends. There's our plate. Looking from the side. Here's our drive plate. So the hub has already been cinched down. You've already run through your procedure, put on your one special made locking nut, or you do the old style 2 of them back to back, or with the pin lock washer. So there's the shaft, and there's the spindle. So how we got to get the ring gear to screw onto the spindle? Well, if we put some type of back whether it be my custom backing or whether we modify a factory with bearing, I haven't decided that. Probably gonna make a new one. But anyway, so locked down. This is how it is in the automatic. Now this thing, see, this is splined in. Now your ring gear, it's stationary. He don't turn. This is what we're looking for. We got to hold this. So, you know, we could modify one of these. We could maybe TIG weld on a nut like that or something. But anyway, y'all are smart enough to understand that all we have to do is get that ring gear threaded down and put a keyway in it right there, and it'll lock it down. So we got our sun gear on here, and we got our drive plate on here. We got to have a little gap because our ring gear can't be touching our drive plate. Remember, here's our drive plate, bolted it down, just simulating our drive plate, just so I can show you. So he's got a center cut out. So now, our ring gear's on there. So, ring gear can't touch our drive plate, can it? So there needs to be about 100 gap or something. So, all we've done, picture this. all we've done is put our new axle shaft in there. On the front it ain't new, but so this is our front axle shaft. We need to install our sun gear. Slide him down. Maybe we put a clip on him. So there he is. We bolt down the drive plate. And then we thread down our ring gear and lock it in on the keyway. So, there's our setup. There's the gist of it. If you can see, we've only added about 3 inches total length to this factory hub. 3 inches is all. I want you to get with that. 3 inches is all. So, right? Sun gear's right there. Sun gear's right there. What do we have to do? The only thing that's left is our planet carrier assembly. Okay. What you're looking at is a GM transmission Planetary on the end of a standard 8-lug, 8-bolt hub, floating axle hub. There's a Dana 60, there's a Dana 70, there's an 80. They're all basically the same. They're just a little bit heavier than the other. Or a GM 14 bolt. So, I need you to get with this idea that this is a bolt-on thing. There ain't no special nothing. I mean, this is high school level, at least in my high school. This is high school level shit here. Right? You have to be able to put that on, put a clip on. You have to figure out a way to bolt on your drive plate using your flush mount fasteners. That's not too difficult. It's 8 of them. They're going to center that disc perfectly. And we thread down our ring gear and lock it down. Drop in our planetary setup, carrier. And then you have to have a drive plate. We have to have a drive plate, end plate, cap, whatever you want to call it. And of course, this cap is attached to our planet carrier assembly. And the cap is securely fastened to our tube. So, once we get to this point right here, once we put in our planet assembly, then our 3-inch piece of tube, dome tubing, 3 inches, of the appropriate size to just slip over our ring gear, such as this stuff that just came in. Because remember now, the ring gear is stationary. And so your hub is turning on the outside of that, kind of like your bearings. So, little piece of this. So, talk myself through it. What all do you have to pull this off? You need appropriate planet assembly. 1 part, 2 parts, 3 parts. Damn, he's tight. So, here's the assembly. We're going to need a mounting plate. We're going to need that's 1 part. That's 2 parts. Going to need a drive plate. 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to need a piece of tube about 3 inches long that all this slips into. That's all we're going to have. So if you really mop this up, there's our dry plate. We have to have 100 gap between that and the ring gear because they can't touch. So there it is, installed on the end. Got to drop in the planet assembly, which is attached to the dry plate, because we're going to extend the pins and run them through the dry plate. Extend the planet pins and run them all the way through the planetary spider, the cover. So, check this out, friends. The planetary assembly that I'm going to put together and market, ready for the summer 2022. Is going to add approximately a little over 3 inches to the entire thing. 3 inches. This planet assembly will be able to bolt to any 8-lug flange hole. They're all the same. So, we've achieved our goal. The parts are affordable, the parts are strong, and the parts can be made to adapt to a smaller axles. And on top of that, you got all kinds of upgrades through GM parts, Sunax, from whether you want to run you a 4-pin, a 5-pin, or a 6-pin. So, there you go, my friends. God bless you. God bless America. And happy trucking. Bye.